Hello and welcome to MudBrains TV Do-It-Yourself Cardboarding Vader Live. Today is day 15 on this great journey of mine, which will lead me to a fully functional Darth Vader mask built from cardboard. Originally, I planned to build everything live, so streaming everything that I do. But as you can see, it took me 15 days to get to where I'm now, and that's just not gonna cut it. I need to accelerate the build process a bit, and that's why I put in some offline hours and continued to work on Vader while I was not streaming. And I think this way it is much more interesting for anybody that's watching, or for anyone that's watching, for then you can at least see what the updates to the model are. And let me show you. This is, maybe I switch the cameras here. This is what I have now. And what I did in the offline time, in the non-live time, is that I first started to finish the surface. Here, this is completely new, that the surface here is stripped. I started to work on the top. This is like a final surface for this, and I started on a lock mechanism that will hold the helmet in place. For here, this part will be glued to the helmet, and then if I put on the helmet, or if the helmet is on top of this, then the helmet can't move from side to side. So I built this. This will be attached to the inside of the helmet. Then I here started to build the grating for the lower part of the mask. Here I did some housekeeping, just carved it out a bit more, but that's of no interest for today. Then I started to build a whole lot of these little pieces here, and therefore I think it's a good thing to do this. Here I started to build a whole lot of this little pieces. They will actually be here, I think, yeah, there it's best to see. They will be inserted in the helmet all around. This is like ventilation things that are inside the helmet. And then I started to, and let me show you just how much it is. Building all this, these kind of little things that are needed for the mechanics on the upper side of the helmet. Here, this stuff, for example, is going around the helmet. They exist in different sizes, and then there's some kind of levers and things going on the helmet. Wait. Where is it? Here, like this, I will, yeah. Here's some kind of levers. Then there is stuff that will be put to the inside of the respirator, here, which, basically is just the mechanics and electronics of his breathing device. Here there's some stuff that might be microphones that will be attached on wires on the inside here. And here, a whole lot of this little stuff. Here, the different colored ones will be here, and yeah, there will be something that reminds me of resistors or stuff like that. I'm searching for one part right now just to show you what I what I want to do on the inside here. This will be somewhere in front there, and then there's a whole lot of stuff on this board here, which is then like under his nose. And the mouse, when the mask is worn, is like in this position. This would be the lips. Yeah, and as you can see, there's just a whole lot of this little stuff which was extremely time consuming to build. For here, this is just made from different layers of cardboard. Here, something like this. And then first I had to build the shape of it, and then I've wrapped everything in some brown paper. And to watch me do this like, I don't know, 20 times, 30 times would have been very, very boring in a live stream. Here, this gratings, which looks like some air duct covers. There's 8 of these, which is made from a frame, basically, or a square. Then I cut out the inside part, and I've wrapped it in this gray packing paper, and then I cut me 4 of these whatever you would call them things, and then I put them in there to give this effect of an air shaft thing. Here in the original sketch, there is these things here all over the helmet. Here you can see the things that I've shown you that will be attached to the top. And here's some of this lever kind of stuff. And then there's some additional little whatever unnecessary tech that I will add at a later date. And here, if you look to the inside of the helmet, there you see this front plate on the respirator, and here all this little stuff. That's what I have built in the off-screen time. Now that I don't lose all of this, I will put it back in here. Here, I don't need this. So the next thing, and that's what I will continue doing now, is actually the... Oh, wait. Here I will... Right now I have not glued this parts in here. They're just to show where they will be placed and how they will be placed there. And this eye here is not glued in either. Whoop. Here, and how did I build this eye cup? Here, once this is completely dry, it's still, yeah, it's okay. It's on its way. But then that I will be able to look through it, I will treat it in a similar fashion to this table tennis ball, but with much smaller holes. That means I will add a grid of holes to the to this lens thing, and then I will be able to look from the inside out. It's like looking through a fence or mosquito webbing or mosquito. Yeah, this mosquito thing that you have in front of your window that no mozzies come in. You can look through if the holes are just small enough and plentiful enough. So that will be done to this thing. And how have I built this eye? So that is actually something that you can see now. For I just have this one eye yet. And now I need the second one. And that's what I will start with. Oh. Yeah, here. I already started a little bit, but I stopped so I can explain the whole thing. This is from the right eye of the mask, and I just used some cardboard, put it to the inside, curved it, then put a second piece of cardboard on there so it holds the curvature, and then I drew the eye through the mask here, as you can see. Can you see the drawing on it? Yeah, a little bit here. I drew that on there here, and this is as you can see, just 2 layers of cardboard. I drew it on there, then I enlarged the outline, for my pen was not really able to go in very deep. Here, so this is not the most inward line, but the second one is the line that I'm watching for. And then I here gave it a something of a border area for I just wanted to see that it can fit in here. And if I would have seen the line on the other side, I knew that it would have been too big. Now I need to get rid of the inside part here. I'll have to cut it out like I did here. And actually, after I cut it out, I added a third layer to it for the added strength that the additional layer gives me is very, very beneficial once I start to build this lens shape here. But you will see that. I think I told you the stuff that I did while I was not on the internet, and now I can start with the second eye. And straightforward. I hope this one is still sharp enough. I'm not sure, but I got additional blades for the scalpel. And let me bring this down a bit, and maybe some additional light here. Now I will cut out this eye, and I have to go in very small, or have to. This is not very sharp anymore. I will insert a new blade. I have to go with very small cuts at a time. For the here, this is not very, very strong, and I don't want to introduce a permanent crease in there. I don't know how to call that. Okay. This should cut better. Yep. Okay. And now for cuts where there's not a lot of curvature, I can insert the scalpel like this and just move it back and forth. And this way I'm advancing my cut. Here, this is not the best technique for tight corners. There I just have to move around the tight corner with a bit of patience. Now I will cut from here to here. And I in here. I just create a little opening, and then once I'm able to put the knife through, then with the same technique of just slowly moving the knife up and down, a little bit back and forth if it's stuck, I cut my way through my guidelines. Okay, now I'm up here. I should be able to get this cut just with the back and forth technique. It's really what's difficult here is that I don't want to damage my how would I call it, my support system that I need to build the eye. For the stronger it is, the better the eye in the end that will come out in the eye, or the lens for the eye will be. And if I could have glued 5 layers on top of each other, but then the cutting process would have been much harder. And so it's if you're very good at cutting through even thicker things, you can do that. Then you wouldn't need to do the next step, which I have to do now. Here I reinsert it here into the mask. I look that the curvature is still the same. I check if it's fitting. And yeah, this looks kind of good. And here, just to illustrate, this is the eye that I already built, or for the top. And this can be placed in here, and for this is the exact size of the eye socket. Oops, wrong side. So this will fit here. So with building this thing, I was able to take the measurements from the inside of the helmet, and I am free to work on it in my hands, and not here inside of the helmet with all this difficult terrain in there. So it's really helpful to build stuff like this. Okay, now I need some cardboard that's roughly the same height. And I will get rid of the sticker. Yep, I will get rid of the sticker here. Cut. I will take this in the long. Then here for now, here I had the waves inside the cardboard are running in this direction on this part of my stencil thing, and here I'm making sure now that they're running in this direction for I'm worried that this thing here, this crease or whatever, will get more pronounced, and by watching out that the cardboard direction is 90 degrees to the layers beneath it, it will be much stronger. Yeah, I pre-bend it here. For this way I don't have to apply too much force to it once it's inside the other cardboard piece. Here this is roughly doing it. And now I'm bending it on the other thing. And to glue it in there, I will put the eye inside the mask. Here, like this, just to be sure it won't move too much. I will hold it in place with some painter's tape. But just a little bit for, yeah, this whole part will receive glue. Just a little bit. And now I can put glue on here. Actually, it's helpful if I just press it in there and mark the position where the eye will be. For this way, I know where to put glue on here and where not. Here I don't want to use too much glue. Here I spread it out on the whole piece. I can overlap the line a bit, that's of no consequence. I just want glue to be everywhere, and it is kind of a kind of thick coat of glue, but I really want the glue to strengthen everything. For this little bend which is already in there, yeah, shouldn't get any bigger. Now I'm pressing it into its shape here, and with pressing it in there, I'm making sure that I have the right curvature for my, where is it? For my eye cap, for my lens cap here. And here was really pressing it in and making sure that the layers bond well. I'm taking care of a better working process further along the road. Whatever. Here, I try to put on as much pressure as I can for the strengths. The connection between the different sheets of cardboard is determined by the pressure that is exerted onto them. And it dries a bit quicker if I really push it into the pores of the cardboard. You know, I can pull this out and connect this, and here it's no problem that this is not like perfectly in the same place. And what I can do now is now I think that it would be overkill. It would be overkill to add another layer of cardboard for if yeah, but maybe yeah, I'm torn, but I'm leaning towards trying to stay on the safe side of things. For it would be a shame if I have to redo any of the steps here. But as you can see, it's a pretty straightforward process to build this kind of things, or it's a straight process to how you can transfer the dimensions from your mask or whatever. This could be used for an insert in some kind of armor that should show through some layers. Yeah, it can be used for a lot of stuff, but this technique is helpful. Now okay, here this is big enough for both sides of the mask. I just slightly, ever so slightly pre-bended, and I will glue them to the outside now. For I need the inside to be kind of one surface without any here bumps or stuff on there. For I will have to fold some paper towards this surface. So here, little pre-bending on both pieces here. Okay, and now I can put some glue onto them. Then I will let them sit for a couple of minutes, maybe. Here, once again, I used kind of a lot of glue, but you can see the deep canyons in there, and yeah, it is like wanted that some glue can be pressed into them, for this will help with overall stability. Then while I give these stripes a little bit of time to pre-dry, I can do the next thing. Oh, no, this would be too early. And here, just to preview what this will be. The inside part, this thing here, is just roughly, just to show you something, is is made from this kind of cardboard here. This will then be put to the inside, of your stencil kind of thing. Here, something like this. Then I cut it down until I reach the cardboard here and push them all over. I fold them over towards the surface, and this way it can't pop out. And the stuff that I'm folding over here is this outer ridge, which was longer, but then I cut it down. This is like the first part. The paper that I will use will be wider than this part, something here like this. It will be cut in like 5mm steps. It will be divided by 5mm. The cuts will be divided by 5mm, will be separated by 5mm, of course. And wait, let me just watch out for now. Where is my concentration? This is the wrong piece for the wrong eye. Damn it. Okay, this goes on here and this goes on there. And just to recheck if curvature is all right, I will use what the fuck, like, yeah, this is the right direction. I will use the mask and push it in there, just to be sure that the curvature is still the same, that it has not stretched out in any way, shape or form. Okay, now I can get rid of the overlap. Or there is not a lot of added strength coming from that. And this way I can make sure that I don't get glue all over my hands. Or for my hands, that would not be a problem, but that I don't accidentally get glue onto my hands, which I then smear onto other parts of this mask. For here, now that this is kind of the final surface here, if I rub glue onto here, the color will slightly change. You can see that here, I think. And yeah, it can introduce coloration problems that I can avoid with just getting rid of the parts that are soaked in glue. This should not take much more time. Here, while I'm waiting, I can like tidy this up, for I will keep them for maybe I decide, or maybe my drilling all the holes into the lens cap goes wrong, that I still have a possibility, or that I still have some, like a Wayback Machine to build me some additional lens caps, where I can then maybe try out a different technique or stuff like that. Yep. Just wait for me a second. I have to lose some weight. Oder? 10 hat das schon.
Danke.
Ey, geh mal nicht so lange raus jetzt.
Nee, hier auch. Jetzt kann ich sofort los. Ich bin nur zu 0 Uhr dann beim Geburtstag ist.
Wer? Achso. Dann laufen wir nicht Hauptstraße, Alter. Die fahren bestimmt noch im Kreis. Einfach nur noch mal aus Spaß nachher.
Machen wir auch nicht.
Nee, mach's nicht. Und wenn, dann rufst du an. Wirklich, nehmen wir nicht ernst.
Gerade die verstehen hier sicher gut auch ein Deutscher zu mir, wird sich denken, was.
Manche verstehen's.
Okay.
Nee, wenn, ruf an, wirklich. Dann komm ich runter und dann...
Ja. Bis dann.
Bis dann, ciao. Okay, that was my son. We had to make some arrangements for tonight. For tomorrow is... Lass offen. For tomorrow is... what is it? A holiday here. It's like national holiday. For Tag der Wiedervereinigung. Yeah. Okay. No, it's not yet fully dried. If you're not sure if something has dried or not, touch it and it feels colder as opposed to some other piece of cardboard, then you know that it's still wet for the moisture, and the process of gluing it makes it a bit colder. And you are able to feel that with your fingers. And right now, with me talking of fingers, for I saw my fingernails and they looked horrible, which is actually a side product of working with glue and cardboard and stuff. So my fingers get dirty a lot, and they will probably be dirty again in like 1 hour. For it's all just like using the fingernails as some kind of tool. Okay, I'm rechecking the curvature. Yep. This looks kind of good. Now while I'm giving it some more time to dry, I can cut the piece. Oops, what is this? Damn, this is I don't know what this is. I can cut the stripe of cardboard that I need on the inside of my eye socket stencil, and I don't really know how long exactly it will be, but here I can use some leftovers here, and here from one corner of it I can just and I will give it a little more just to be sure and to have some overlap where I can join the beginning and the end of the loop. How high will I need it? This is much too wide, but I can shorten it easily. And as it is most of the time, or as I say in a lot of situations, it is better to have too much material than too little, for lengthening a short thing is difficult. Hello, wait, be polite. Hello, hello, Semyon. Nice to see you. Nice to join us here. Okay, here, I don't really care which side, which part of the cardboard is on the outside here. For yeah, in the end everything will be covered with some additional with an additional layer of brown paper. Okay, this will then go or be used on the inside here. Okay, which means I can start to get rid of the inside of the eye here. But before I do that, I wanna, yeah, I don't know if it's still visible, but it should be a little bit. Here I used a little piece of cardboard, or something like this size, which is from the center of the lens and this is used, yeah, like a cap on top of the things that will stand up like this. And but I don't know how to explain it, so I think the pictures will actually do a good job of it. Oops. Okay. This is nearly dry now, and you can hear this like cluckering sound. And herefore I just used one layer that I added to this thing. You see, it's very easy to cut, and yeah, that's why I prefer the first two layers, cutting them, and then just add a third or a fourth layer. For now it's like very easy to cut, and there's nearly no chance to damage the structure that you already built. Oh, damn, I touched into the knife. I grabbed into the knife. Yeah, this is unfortunate, or this does not really hurt, but when I was building my little Super Nintendo thing, and whoever saw the video, there I just messed up the surface with some of the blood from my fingers. And that's something that I really want to avoid. For this is, as I said before, final surface. And I don't see any kind of plaster thing here. Wait, I will just improvise. Tack, tack. Okay, this should be good enough to for here. This is just to protect the surface of the cardboard, that I don't smother or whatever any unnecessary blood on it. Okay, here the inside is looking good. It's not perfectly even. Now just a little bit of sanding should make or leave me with a very even inside surface here. And then once I leveled out the surface, I will smear some glue to this inside surface here and let it harden for this strengthens the whole thing, and it actually will provide some additional stability to the whole thing. Okay, cardboard and sandpaper are really, really good friends. Now I will here just there is no need for excessive amounts of glue here. It's just that I want to have one even coat of glue on the inside here. I'm pushing it in between the cardboard layers with my fingers. So there's this way it gets in there a little deeper, as opposed to just letting it sit on the surface. And this again will give me some additional stability, or you when you do something like this for yourself. Okay, here just get rid of the excess stuff here, and you can see even now there's not really a whole lot of completely white spots left, which is kind of an indicator that it shouldn't take too long for it to dry. Now for another time, or once again, I put it in here and check if the curvature is still the way I want it. And this looks kind of good. Here there was a slight gap here. But this gap resulted just from very uneven inside surface. Cashon, what's up? Back to you. It's all good. It's all good. All good in cardboard land here. And tomorrow is a holiday in Germany. Yeah, that leaves me with the opportunity to stay up a little bit longer, as opposed to normal work days. Hey! Thanks for watching. I will switch back to the close-up one and rest Vader here. No, this was not the... Okay, there's still some very small wet spots of glue, and I just have to make sure that there like none left, or that they're so small that they actually won't stick to the paper that I will put to the inside of the eye socket in a couple of seconds, minutes. Yeah. There's a difference between day 14 and 15, and that's, as I stated in the beginning, is due to the fact that I was working on the mask in the offline hours, or to be more precise, in between the last stream and now. For just it is overall it just takes way too long to build the whole thing on a live stream, and it's incredibly boring to see me do just the same thing over and over. And here for now you can see me build one eye, and I already have built the other eye, so it's just one time that you need to suffer to it, or maybe you don't suffer to it, but it's, yeah, if you're looking for new techniques and stuff like that, it's much more interesting if I don't have to present you with the same thing over and over. And there's a lot of repetition in building something like this. And yeah, I think it's a good thing to move some stuff offline, or to offline proceedings when it's not anything new, or when it's just a repetition. Okay. Here, yeah, this is dry now. Yep. Now I will just have to fit this to the inside of the eye. Let me get closer with the camera. And while doing that, I have to make sure that it really touches the whole outer wall of my stencil thing. And I wanted to go straight up here, so this should come out evenly. There's a bit of pushing and pulling required. Okay, right now it looks as if I completely touch the inside of this build, and I will mark where the where it starts and ends, and then I will glue it down here. And I don't need this huge overlap, for it will just be an annoyance later on. And that's why I cut it down just to what I really need. Here, and this flap should be big enough, or a big enough surface to actually hold this together. And because I checked that the length is good, I can now just attach it, and here then, once it dried, I can reinsert it into the eye socket stencil. And then continue to build the lens cap. Here, I think, or maybe you can tell me that this is like a good thing when I build some stuff offline. For this way, I'm able to show you what it will look like, and then I can explain the technique that I use to get to that state. Okay, now I reinserted this tube into the eye socket, and it's a good thing that it's not just sliding in there, for if it would just like nearly fall through the hole, I wouldn't have done a good job with measuring it. Okay, this looks good. Now I will mark the position, and this is a just in case thing. If I accidentally move the whole thing, or if it falls out of my hands, that I can get back to exactly the same position. Therefore, it's helpful to mark it. And I'm making sure that I at least have something like 1 centimeter on the inside part here. For I will fold them over to the side, and the individual flaps will be glued together afterwards. Now I will just cut right to the inside cardboard layer, and I need more cuts where there is a tight curve. Ciao. Das offen. It's okay. Where there is a tight curve, and I need less. Oops, look here. Now I accidentally moved the whole thing, and because I marked it before, I'm able to get back to exactly the same position. Here, where there is less curvature, I can space my cuts out a bit more. for here, I will then fold it over like this. And yeah, if there's too much curvature, then I wouldn't be able to fold it like this. That's why the cuts have to be closer together when there's a tight corner or a very tight radius to the curvature. Is this visible? Maybe I can like this. Yeah. Okay, now I'm working my way around the... I moved it again. Yeah, and the it's moving all the time. Maybe I should have used some painter's tape to hold it in place. Okay, I think I will do that for yeah. Precision is really helpful here. For if I like get this curvature wrong now, it could happen that the lens that we are building, or that I'm building right now, would not really fit the curvature of the mask. And here, as you can see, this is like not the perfect fit, but it's very close to it. Yeah. So. And yeah, that's something to watch out for while you're building it, that the inside tube here stays at the same place the whole time. Yeah, I will just for it always seemed to move on the left and the right side. I will just put some painter's tape here. And this should make it harder for me to accidentally move it. Okay, I was on my way to cut around the inside here. Here I can space them apart, for it's nearly a straight line, and now here there's more curvature, and that's where I'm putting the cuts closer together, so I have something like more resolution. In that corner region. So now I will fold over, and while doing that I try to watch for the line I drew, that I'm always folding everything exactly at the height of that line that I drew. And the nice thing to build the eye like that is that, yeah, there's a ridge here that I can later on use to glue in the lens into the helmet, like comes for free while doing it like this. Here, this is the eye with the inside prepared. And now I will use little stripes of cardboard And with them I will connect the flaps that are here. These flaps. For in the end I want it to be that they are following the curvature, that they're fixed into place, but that I still can like remove this tube thing from the stencil thing. Now I'm preparing cardboard stripes of different length. For here, as you can see, I can use a long stripe here, but I will have to use shorter stripes in the tighter corners. Yeah, just from some leftovers. I think this is enough, but I'm nearly through. Okay. And now I will just add a little drop of glue to, to these flaps. And I want to make sure that there is no glue in the spaces between them, for I don't want to glue these flaps to the lower side here. Just a little bit, and that's too much, but I can always just get rid of it. Okay, and here, this is a very long stretch, and I can just use one long piece of cardboard here. And here where there are tied out corners, I use these smaller pieces. And now I'm just walking my way around here. And here where I was not able to have everything connect, I will just add some more glue and use an additional piece of cardboard here. This way I will work myself around the whole eye socket, or the whole outline of the eye. Here, and as you can see, now there's nice conformity between the different surfaces. Yep. Okay, here the glue already dried. Here, this is a good spot for a long piece of cardboard. Here, if I spread out the glue before I push down the cardboard, I can make sure that there's no that I don't squeeze any cardboard into the gaps between the flaps. the gaps between the flaps. And here there's no connection, just a little bit of additional glue and a medium-sized piece of cardboard to hold them together. Yeah, this might be a bit time-consuming, but I haven't found a better way yet to build something like that, where I need to follow a curved surface. And I was kind of happy of this technique when I found it yesterday. For it solves all the problems that arise from building a shape like that from scratch. It's a bit tedious to do, but which one is the longest piece here? Okay, they roughly got the same size. Now I can join these 4 spots with one additional piece. And then I'm nearly done. I've nearly worked my way around the eye socket. Here, this is just like 1, 2, 3 more pieces. Yeah, glue this and this flappy thing together. Oops. And then I make these parts join the circle of whatever. Okay, this is roughly the right length. And one more piece of cardboard here. And just a couple of seconds of pressing it down. And then I'm finished on the inside, at least for now. But what I can do is get a little bit closer to the inner part, here to the inner edge. For here, I want to cut it afterwards. And here, this is a gap that is like unnecessarily big. And yeah, I want it to be have the same strength all around. On this ridge all around. Then it's easier to glue it in later on. Here, but this is just very quick. Fixes here, and here this is actually a benefit for because I built this yesterday. I like figured out most of the problems with it. And now I can like confidently tell you with confidence how I think it's a it's a good way to do it. For yesterday there was more trial and error. And more frustration for me. But now that I know how I Hello, hello, garage maker though. I have a really I feel guilty for I haven't called you back. I was like very busy, and the only times that I took out for some stuff that was not like core business or making money and this stuff. I was I was thinking about calling you like every second day, but I'm sorry. Ashes to my head. Sorry, but I still want to do it. That's strange. Right now I have a whole lot to do, but I want that we are doing something together. It's sorry. Okay, so that was my like official apology. Sorry. I will turn the camera back. Okay, I surrounded the inside edge with one ring of cardboard here. Now I can get rid of the painter's tape here. Thanks for accepting. I had a real bad conscience about it. It's shit. Okay, this is what I have now. And just to illustrate, oops. Here, this is the inside part. This is the inside part, and from like this. From this, we will come to this shape, or I will come to that shape. Here, now I can cut out this inner piece here, which I marked down. For this will be kind of the lid on top of the stuff that we are going to cut, or that I'm going to cut in a couple of seconds. Yo, Cookie Communist. Oops. Back on stream. Here, now what I will do next is cut like a whole lot of sections into this upper ring here, but I don't need the whole length. Here, I need it to be a bit longer on the left and the right side of the eye, and not yeah, and they these things that I'm going to cut can be shorter here. For here, there's one on this side and then one on the other side, and when I fold them towards each other, here they don't need the same length as from the sides here. I don't know if that illustrates what I mean, but that's the idea behind it, but it will explain itself in pictures here. Oh no, I'm just marking this down. Here, once again, longer parts on the left and the right side, and then I don't need all that length where there's two sides opposing each other. The further the opposite side is away, the longer the flap should be. Now I just I roughly follow my line here. And now, same as I did on the other side, I will divide this, and I will have shorter distances between the cuts, the tighter the corner. Okay, very tight corner, cuts very close together, and now here there is less curvature. I can space the cuts further apart. Very good. Yesterday it took me way longer to do the eye, for I was still experimenting. Yeah, pronunciation is off, but that's no problem. Now I will, and I hope the camera can pick that up. Here, pre-bend each of these flaps to the inside, for that's where I want the curvature to be. And what really works out quite well is if I hold my thumb on the inside here and then use the thumb kind of as a shape for the curvature. Okay. Now I will work myself around the whole lens here, or around the whole outer perimeter of this lens. And this is like my hands are kind of big. Here there's centimeter scales here, so you might be able to compare. I never did this. 10, 20. Yeah, from here to here it's like 23 centimeters from there to there. And with these small things, it's sometimes hard to reach in there. But it's good enough. Here. Now, what I try to do is that there's always like one flap on top of the one before. Here, like here, I put this in, and then here. Now this flap here is over this one, and I want to have this like all the way around. For then it is much easier to put the lid on in the end. And here, just to illustrate, here now I can push this down and everything is coming down. What I want to do is here glue this to the top of the structure then. And yeah, that's the whole plan. So I pre-bend everything here. Then I will like really drown it in glue, for I want the glue to be able to go into every crease and crack here. And that way I will have such a hard lens, hard shell then, for when I want to drill holes, or when I will drill for when I start to drill holes into it, then the stronger or the stiffer the better, and the more glue is in between the layers of the cardboard, the stiffer the whole thing will be. And first it's good for drilling it, so I can make smaller holes and put the holes closer to each other. The other benefit that this kind of thing produces when you're introducing a whole lot of glue to the cardboard is that it's much easier to sand the lens, so to use some sanding paper and to smooth it out. And here, this is for a curvature that's built from cardboard. This is like, that's a nice curvature. That's a nice curved surface. And this is just possible, at least for me, with some sanding. Okay, now I'm nearly finished with moving around here once. I won't be able to stick to the same pattern, like the one piece on top of the other. For here in this tight corners. My fingers are too sausage-like. I'm making sure that the curvature is consistent around the whole thing. Okay, now I drown it in with glue. Wait, here this. Okay, yeah, here this is moving nicely. Like now it has this here. If everything worked out nice, it got this kind of iris effect, like you know from camera glass, or if you ever watched into a DSLR camera, you can see when the f-stop is moved that the iris closes and opens. Okay, I will put glue onto here and between the layers and everywhere. And for now, oops, I will take it out of this stencil thing, for I would accidentally glue it down there, and that's not what I want. And now I start to push it to the inside of the layers here, or beneath the flaps. And for now it's nearly upright. Once I push everything down, the glue that is here will be completely under the under the flap before it. Here. Now this is this top thing, and I will pre-bend it with my hands. For, as you can see, there is not a flat spot on top of here. It's curved into every direction, and I give this a bit of curvature. And now I will push this together. This was very messy yesterday, and it is the same today. But here, if you somehow managed to align them, then here you can benefit from them sliding in tandem with each other. Hey. Now I have to get rid of the glue, for it's too sticky. Okay, here you can see the basic shape, and now I'm trying to match the curvature for, yeah, it would look kind of strange if one eye is like curved like this and the other is like very flat. This would make Darth look stupid, and that's not what I want. I wanna have a somewhat mean looking Vader. Okay. This is too much here. No, now it's just playing around with the curvature a bit, trying to make sure that you have as little gaps as possible. And because I flooded the whole thing with glue, it is really easy to completely compress the cardboard layers. Into each other, and in this way making the surface much smoother. Here, as you can see, there's here normally or under normal circumstances, this is the cardboard. You're able to see the wavy part, and here the cardboard is compressed nearly completely, or flattened out nearly completely, that there is no sign of the inner layer structure anymore. Okay, overall this is starting to look good, and yeah, this was a kind of a long way to come to this lens here, but actually it's not. It was like, I don't know, 60-70 minutes, and the shape that was built in this time is kind of complex, and yeah, I think this is a nice technique to build any kind of inlay into a curved surface that is then curved itself. If you catch my drift. I am quite happy with it. Now, yeah, I'm still making sure to give it maximum compression, so, and trying to make sure to sculpt in an even curvature around the whole thing. And what is still visible is that the top piece of cardboard here, there, oh wait, I don't know if it shows up on camera, but there's still some cardboard structure visible. This can be taken care of with additional glue that I will now add around just this top lid part, and I will push it in between the layers as good as I can. And the additional glue on here will give us like more stuff to sand later on. For if there's no glue on the surface, the different cardboard layers like peel off too easily. So, and now the glue will soak in to the cardboard, and in this way, once it dried, there is a good basis for sanding. Whew. Okay, now I shouldn't forget to press down the outside of this lid part here. Yeah, and I think that the curvature on this lens is actually, or will be, better as compared to the other one. But that is something that happens most of the time. On the second piece, you will always... Yeah, no, for the second piece you have the benefit of experience from the first piece, and you should have sorted out the errors. Yeah, and when I do some stuff for clients, then, yeah, if this would be for a client and I would use a technique that I never did before, then I would actually build 3 of this lids or lenses or whatever. Yeah, the first one just to sort out the problems, and then the second and the third one for the final build. This looks really good now. Okay, now I will moisten my fingers a bit, and with this I try to smooth out the surface as much as I can. For the better it is now, the less sanding will be needed. Okay. Great. Oh, my elbow hurts. Here. Yeah, I just witnessed the edge bowing up. I had to stop that from happening. Okay, here you can see that right now the layers just wanna. Here for now, the whole piece is very wet, and then it's very easy to peel off the top layer of the cardboard. So I have to make sure not to accidentally touch the surface now. I will give this a couple of minutes until it's like dry to the touch, and then I will add glue to the inside here, or it will provide strength. But not in this amount, just a little bit to soften the worst of the cracks here. The main thing is to glue a little piece of cardboard to the middle there. For this way, there's the same thickness on all parts of the lens. I try to mimic the shape that I saw in here. It looks like an eye somehow, but here to this side. Okay, this nearly fits the mold, the hole. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a bit tired, but I wanted to show what I have done. So last time I'm reading the chat right now. What do you mean? Yeah, last time I built something from cardboard, it was a gun. I left it overnight to dry, and in the morning I found it chewed up everywhere. Who was the perpetrator of this evil act? A cat or a dog? Or a child? Who's done that? Who's responsible? Who was responsible? Oh, if I would wake up like tomorrow and find this thing chewed up, ooh. Ooh, no, I don't really want to think about it, for I would be so unpleasant then. A dog, damn. But as I just said, just take the experience you gained from the first gun that you built and use that experience for the second one, and the second one will just be better than the first, or as opposed to the first. And this way maybe you can find something good in that horrible story. Horrible. Oops. Now I try to here fill the hole with this piece that I prepared, and I got lucky and it actually fits in there. Yes. Oh. Yeah, for right now, the surface here wants to pick up dust and dirt and everything, so I have to watch out a bit. Okay. This fits in there. Now I will give it a little bit of time, but what I can do now is here just start to get rid of the unnecessary construction overlaps, whatever. I can get rid of the parts that are not needed in any further step. Here, this way I will not waste glue and anything valuable on stuff that will just be cut away afterwards. And I need to make sure that the flap here, is not too wide, so that I will be able to insert both eyes at the same time. And as you can see, the bridge of the nose is kind of small here, and both eye lenses will have to share this limited space there. Okay, here it dried a little bit, and here, as you can see, the curvature is not 100%, and that's where this thing here comes in handy to just force the eye back into the right curvature. And for it is still very wet, so it's very sculptable. I can make sure that it fits, and I can if there's still gaps between the inside edge of my stencil thing. There is a bit of a gap, but if I position the eye more here, then here is a little gap. Bleh. Now I can push the whole inside of the lens against the stencil. I just have to make sure that it's not glued on there. For as I said, the glue is not dry, it's just here like dry to the touch. But if I'm doing it like knowingly here, then I can correct the outer shape of the lens, and this will make the whole thing look much more convincing. Okay. Here, curvature was checked. The outline of the lens was checked. Here, just removing unnecessary stuff. This is just another run for overall curvature. This looks good or promising, I should say. Here now just let me drink something. Here a couple more minutes, and here then it should be dry to the point where I can use some more force with it. Or maybe I just do it here in my hand like this. Now I will add the glue to the inside here, and I try to once again push it beneath the cardboard layers and inside all the cracks. I don't know, I let it soak in a bit, and then I will use this thing here to further compress the cardboard. Okay, this is nearly everything that I can do to this part today. For now it has to really dry, and like when I mean really dry, it's like really dry, and that means that it needs at least 12 to 18 hours, something like that. They're not even saying here. Yeah, but it's around 12 hours, 12 to 18, until all the moisture is gone from it, and it just then can be sanded. And after it is sanded, then I laminate some brown paper to the top of it. And how this lamination process works, I will continue to show you on the main mask. For here this I think I compressed all edges. I think I have smoothed out all uneven areas. Here, curvature is looking good. Yeah, so this just needs some time now. I will put it in here. I will once again curvature checked, and now I will put it somewhere safe where it can dry. Okay, this is actually good, for there is no contact to the lens here. Yeah, I will use this, and just to keep it from moving up, I will put this on there. Okay, and I will put it into the shelf. Okay, done. Very good. Next step. Now I can move this out of the way. No, I don't need that. This will be shelved too. Okay, what I wanna do now is here, as you might be able to see. Yeah, this does not show up on camera too well. Maybe on that camera. Okay, yeah. Here, this is the finished surface, and this is the surface before I glued or I laminated packing paper or brown paper or whatever you call it to the top of the whole cardboard thing. I sanded it a little bit, not very much, but I wanted to get rid of the worst creases in the cardboard. I don't really mind if there's some irregularity in the surface, but yeah, nothing too severe. So I got rid of everything that was too prominent, and I think here used this paper then to finalize the surface. And here it's a bit sad that I don't have too much of these bags here. For here I was just scouting my brown paper and brown bag stash, and as you can see here, yeah, I think it shows up. The color is quite different between most of the brands of bags, and I should have watched out for it before I started to commit to a certain brand or make or whatever. But yeah, I didn't check it, and so right now there is limited supply of this. And I don't just want to buy something from this certain retailer just to get a bag. That would like be counterproductive. I try to minimize waste, or at least not minimize waste, but use the waste for something productive. I don't want to produce the waste just for the waste's sake. That was ugly. Okay, I'm trying to look for a piece of paper that's big enough, and the main challenge here is that the paper will stretch a little bit, but if the change in curvature is too severe, then I will have to cut the paper to make it to be able to follow the surface. I think you know what I mean. So here, where it's nearly flat, I can just kind of like stretch the paper a little bit, so it will, here as you can see, conform to the surface without any kind of incision into the paper. But here the change in curvature was very severe for the eyebrow thing, that I had to cut into the cardboard and then overlap the pieces while folding them to the inside. Now I will like search for a surface that is kind of flat or has just curvature in one direction. And then I will cut myself a piece of paper in the right size, for I need to conserve this paper here. Okay, here this will be roughly shaped like it is on this side. Here I was coming up here to the corner of the eye, and then the middle of the eyebrow, and I ended up here just above the hole there, this ventilation hole. And I intend to cover like the same area on this side for when there's edges and stuff visible and they're mirrored on both sides, then it looks as if you wanted them to be there. Okay, here, this is hard to hold in place, but I think this is roughly where I want to go, and here I can just use the underlying structure to fold the paper. Okay. Okay, I have lost track of my this is the fold that was hardly visible, or I expected it to have a different shape. Okay, and here at the top there I can really closely follow the line. That I drew on here. Now, one thing that I will have to get rid of is here there's a fold in here, and that's not a good start for the surface. Here, so everything where the paper has this kind of tendency to overlap itself, I will get rid of. And then what I tend to do is okay, here to the corner of the eye and between them two holes there, that I just mark some positions here. For example, here the this corner up here, just to have some kind of clue to where I measured. Oh shit. Okay, I accidentally painted on the surface. To where I measured it to. Here there's some leftovers from the ball pen, and I will get rid of them, for this is final surface stuff. And yeah, I don't want Vader to be ball penned. Here now these markings that I'm laying down are not just for orientation purposes, but they also help me to like mark the area in which I will use the glue. For I don't want to use the glue on surface that won't receive any cardboard. For then the surface will not be as easy to be worked with as it is without glue on it. Rambling. Damn, come on. Yeah, I was just rambling. That's when I try to focus. This is like the 5th time I was able to hold it wrongly. Okay, I will start to apply glue on top here, and I will just like step by step work my way down. For if I would use the glue on the whole surface that I plan to cover with the paper, there's just too much of a possibility for something to go wrong. Once again. Okay, now I will start on one edge, and then I try to stretch the paper over the curvature, and I try to identify areas where there might be a crease early on, so I can like push against that or try to stretch the paper even more, or give it some more time to absorb the glue. For yeah, the paper is more sculptable when it's wet, but on the other hand, it will rip easily. No, there's like yeah, that's a trade-off. It helps for the paper to be a little wet, but too wet makes it nearly impossible to apply. Okay, now yeah, I try to plan my way down the surface now, and for here is an opening, and I can use that opening to like have creases disappear in there. Yeah, how did I do it here? I think I don't remember. Okay, this will be here. And if the best place for any kind of crease here would be here, the back of the head, for there will be all this little stuff on there on the top of the helmet, and with that I can easily cover any kind of imperfection in the surface. Okay, here the line that I laid down there was on the deep end of it, and same for the line here. Now I will just use the glue on the whole surface. Yeah, and then try to finish this piece of brown paper in one go. Yeah, and as I said before, or as I mentioned before, I sanded the surface a bit. First to get rid of some imperfections, but it is also beneficial to sand the surface, for it then can hold the glue much better, or it's easier for the glue to penetrate into the paper or the cardboard if the surface is a bit rough. And yeah, that's just something you should remember. And especially if you've been working on a model for a longer time, or for longer periods of time, there will always be some kind of stuff on the surface, and you want it as dust and fat and whatever free as possible, especially when you try to laminate paper to it. Okay, as I said, I want, if there are creases, I want them to move to the back here. That's why I will start the process on the opposite side of the area. Look, here I didn't pay attention. Let me there, and a crease worked itself in here. Okay, now I know that there will be one bigger crease. But in identifying where you would least mind to see it, and here this is where I meant I can steer creases into openings. Okay, and now I know that this is like beyond recovery. Now I will just open this thing up. and start to glue down one side, and oops. Okay, and then here I will use some glue on the overlapping part. Here, this glue looks a bit too dry already. Okay, and now I will continue to press it down and massage my way forward. Okay, here, this is not perfect, but good enough. Here, now I just try to even out the surface, and here it can be really beneficial to have some kind of sculpting tools. For this way you can just gently work across the surface and just remove any kinds of air bubbles and stuff like that from beneath the paper. And you can even out some minor surface defects for the glue that I laid on there to take up the paper, moistened the cardboard a little bit, and this way you got a like semi-sculptable underground. Okay, now I want to glue down the remaining edges of the cardboard, of the brown paper. Here I know that there is some kind of difficult area in the edge of the eye, and I will once again move towards the area that's problematic and start at an area where I want it to be perfect. Yeah. And here it's actually not a problem at all, at least not now. And here, if I would just fold down this flap here, maybe you can see it, then I would have creasing here. That is something I don't want. For here I want to have a sharp corner there, and yeah, I just cut it a bit. I will put some additional glue down here, first to hold down the underground or the layer beneath, and then some more to soften the paper. And this should give me the opportunity. Blue Reason, hi! Oh, wait, hold up. Blue reason, hi. Yeah, great progress. I decided to not just work on camera, but also off camera. For it would have taken too long. Here, there's a lot of new stuff now that you haven't seen, or maybe you've seen it in the thumbnail. Welcome. Thanks for checking in. Okay, and here, as you can see, with this incisions that I made, and here was folding it around like that, I was able to avoid a crease there. Here, and I got like a really nice corner in the eye here. It nearly looks like a seamless surface. That is great. Okay, now I just need to fold this around here. Here I will just That was a really difficult position for my hand. Here a couple of little cuts here and there, and then I should be able to fold this around the edge. I'll just have a zip. Okay. And now I put quite a lot of glue to this edge part here, for this needs some kind of stabilizing force. And the direct edge where the paper will be folded around the edge receives a bit more glue, for the glue has the job to soften the brown paper. And here, when it is soaked in there, it is much easier to really fold it around the corner. And you will see that now. But actually, I can already add the glue to the outside flaps here. For the most important part is the edge and the innermost corner. But here, this is just, yeah. Okay, now I can just put it over here. The incisions help to fold it in the curved areas on top of itself. And here there's still too much tension. That means I have to go deeper with the cut, and there's a lot of curvature here. Now, this is no surprise. And now I always try to make sure to press the brown paper to the to the edge first before I fold it around. For if the paper is not really glued onto the edge, then folding the paper around might result in a crack in the paper, and the crack will then move all the way over the edge. And that's something that you want to avoid, or that I want to avoid. And that's why I'm first pushing it onto the edge, and then I'm like folding it over. Okay, this looks good enough. Now what I have to do is, here you see the cutouts for the like ventilation things. For them I try to cut inside here. Wait, I don't know if it shows up. Here you can barely see them, or slightly see them if the light is at a right angle to it, or at a good angle. Here, but I try to cut them from the inside, and I do an incision in the corner, and then I pull my knife towards the middle. And yeah, this way I can kind of make sure that the brown paper is not ripping. Here from the outside corner to the middle, and yeah, this way here I end up with this X in there. Oops. And then I will apply the paper from the outside, Then I will apply the glue from the outside. Cookie communist. What? Clean and smooth as an... And then you say something that you're not allowed to say on stream. Oh, I'm not allowed. I think I'm not allowed. But you can say that. Yeah, and it is really very smooth as marble. That's what I would prefer to compare it against. Yeah, there was use of inappropriate language in the chat. But that's okay. Now here, I'm folding the brown paper flaps to the outside, and now I will put glue on there, and I will put glue to the inside of the inside wall that has been cut open, at least a little bit, especially at the top, for then I can sculpt the edge and round it off a little bit. Yeah, elven mob. Oh. Okay. Here, and as I do most of the times, I use my fingers to just spread it out a bit. Yeah. Okay, and then I use the fingers that are not soaked in glue and fold that in there. Here, and the inside of this holes here is not very clean, for you can see the cardboard there, but that is not a problem, because this here, the ventilation shafts will be glued to the top of here, so you won't be able to look in there. What if the paper tears? Would you just glue another on top of it? Yeah, just repair it somehow. Maybe if there's like a very mean tear going through a whole lot of it, I would try to rip as much of the wet paper off as I can, let it dry, sand it a little bit, and then just use some other paper on top of it. And one other thing, but wait, I can show that. Another thing to repair surface stuff, and when you try to hide your edges, sometimes it helps to rip the paper with your hands. Wait, I will show it to you. Well, here, there was a question. What if the paper tears? Would you just glue another on top of it? And I was just trying to explain the way I problem solve that, or I would. Here, let me this camera, and here, if you glue this piece of paper onto another piece, then you have this sharp line. And if you would like infinitely enlarge this, then this is the paper. Yeah, this is the edge of the paper. It got a certain height here, so the thickness is this now, and this edge will always show up. But if you take the paper and rip it, here, what you can see is that, yeah, I think it's good enough. Here, that it's now tapered off or beveled off. And if you glue this on top another piece of paper, then you can actually hide the seam, like kind of competent. So, and if you if something like that would happen, then I would make sure that I would follow some kind of surface structure with the seam of it, and then it should be not too distracting. But I am sure I will have a lot of possibilities to troubleshoot on this model. For the helmet will be just very, very painful to cover in brown paper, for it's just one. Each side of the helmet is one continuous surface, and that is really difficult. So, but that's tomorrow's problem. or not literally. It's just, yeah, that's a problem for another day. Okay, this will be the last of these openings to close. Okay, and now I want to have a little bit of curvature on the edges. Wait. Yeah, you can see that because here there's a nice highlight on the edge. That means it's curved off. And here you see that the highlight is like nearly non-existent there. That means it's a very sharp corner. And I want to get rid of the sharp corners now. That's why I used a lot of glue on the inside edge there. And now I will just round off the edges or break the edges. For then they can catch the highlights so beautifully. I will stand up for this. If not, it's an awkward angle for my arm. Okay, and with here with rounding of the edges, I'm actually making sure that there will be a seam, and ever so small here between the edge of this ventilation shaft thing and the surface, and I like that. If there is no seam and it is like nearly perfect, it just looks boring. So I want to have curvature on the edges. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. Just rounding off, just giving the edge a slight radius. And that, at least in my view, really helps the model to, just to look like convincing. Yeah, it makes the model more convincing. Yeah, in German, I would be able to have some kind of like arty talk about it now. But you are spared from that experience. For my English is not good enough right now. But I don't know if you've noticed, I think my vocabulary starts to increase again. And if I compare this live stream with like a live stream from 3 weeks ago, I think there's some kind of improvement in my ability to use the English language a bit more less horrible. Okay, yeah, nearly 3 hours. I think that's it for today. Yeah, what have I shown you? Or what have I done now? Right, here is just the comparison. Oops. Okay, here's the eye or the lens for the like this. Here, this is what I built on stream today, and yeah, it is still drying as I predicted. Here, this will take till tomorrow, and then I can like file it off and a little bit of sandpaper and everything, just making sure all that there's good surface continuity. And then I will cover it with this brown paper in the same way that I did it here on the helmet. So just technique-wise, that's the same thing. And yeah, then when the top is done, I will cut it down as much as I need to, and then I will cover the inside with another piece of paper here. And there, the color is not that important. It's just to have an additional layer. And to make it stronger for the act of drilling all these little holes in there that I will want in there, where I hope that enough light will come through that I'm able to look out of it. Yeah, and yeah, then you watched me here show you how I'm laminating the surface of the helmet. And for this stuff here, now I have just to work myself around the helmet and laminate everything. And yeah, a little bit on the inside. There's some cleanup to be had here. And then maybe I will use or glue some, I don't know, unnecessary electronic pieces in there. So, but I'm not sure if I will work on the inside there. And the next thing that I will do, right, there's something in the chat. I try to take a look. Okay, the top part of Vader's helmet is actually bumpy in episode 4, but in 6 it's smooth. As for 5, it was loop-sided, just for accuracy's sake. Thanks for pointing that out. My helmet will be like all over everything. And this is more like a piece to for my like memory lane. I don't care if it's like really prop accurate or like episode accurate. So there, I noticed a lot of different designs for the Vader helmet, and yeah, especially with the lower part, with the neck piece, how the triangle is in there, and how big the screws are on the front of the respirator. Here, there's dimples in the cheekbone. So I just, yeah. Mine will not be accurate, but thanks for pointing it out. For me, it's just... Whoop. Here, I wanted to build one that that fits my head. And yeah, David Prowse. Yeah, David Prowse's head is a bit rounder and stuff. Here, this is yeah, just Vader as I remember Vader in the end. Okay, here, next, or what I will do off stream is this part here I will put in there, and that's like what I have as a mechanism that the helmet locks into place. For this piece will be attached to the helmet, and this piece to this face mask part. And then when the helmet is put on there, it's like key and lock. Yeah, the helmet should be stopped from just changing its angle. That's okay. That's something I will do. And yeah, a little bit of housekeeping. I'm not actually sure when I will be able to do the next live stream for yeah, work. I have a lot of work to do, but the latest possible scenario is next Sunday, I think. For yeah, I will have to travel a bit, and that's yeah, I will be on my way to put bread on the table, bread with butter. Yeah, thanks for watching. I hope I was able to explain how this thing here was made, and how I laminate surfaces, cardboard surfaces. Hopefully the next time I will have one of these eye cups drilled and put into place, and I hope it's possible to oops, I'm putting it in upside down all the time. Yeah, and then I hope that I will be able to actually see something through the lens that I'm building. I hope the technique will work out, and I hope that I can use small enough holes that it's not looking like holes from some feet away. I hope that it will become invisible, like, I don't know, 150 centimeters away, 1.5 meter. That would be a good thing. And for me, with my eyesight now, at my advanced age, it should be invisible fairly early. Thanks for watching. It was nice of all you to join the stream. And I will work on the helmet before I'm coming back with a live episode. And yeah, I hope you will see lots of updates on the helmet, and especially on the neck piece, for I have to increase the pace there. And yeah, hope it will be interesting for you. Thanks for watching. Everybody have a nice week. To everyone in Germany, have a nice national holiday tomorrow. And I say bye-bye. Mudbrains TV Do-It-Yourself Cardboarding Vader Live episode 15 is now over. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Look.